Insomnia vlog, question mark. You'll see the colors change on my face, probably, maybe, I don't know. And that is from, yes, you do. My lovely Saturn light that I got from IKEA. I don't know why we're starting it off with this, but I guess I figured I should address the lighting. It is my lovely Saturn light, that changes colors. Which, have I shown this off on camera? On a video? I don't think so. Also admire my room. It is very nice. But my tattoo, have I shown my tattoo? The chemicals are serotonin and dopamine, and the lyric is "How rare and beautiful it is to even exist," which is from a song called Saturn, which is why I really like Saturn, and I have that Saturn light, which, I'm sorry if the editing was weird getting into that Saturn light. I am tired. Also, I have another tattoo that I'm going to explain now, because why the fuck not? This one's a little harder to get, because it's a little bit bigger. But it's the Song of Achilles, two hands reaching in front of the sun, and the Saturn is black, and the rest is like the orangey red color from a red figure base painting. And then the word at the top is Philtatos, which is most beloved, which is an iconic quote from the Song of Achilles. It is in all capitalized Greek letters because lowercase Greek letters didn't appear until after Alexander the Great. And as we all know, Alexander the Great was a huge Iliad fanboy, and the Song of Achilles is an Iliad retelling. So thus, all capitalized Greek letters. Check out the shading if the camera focuses. Actually, Saturn's a really good example of the shading. Honestly, these planets in general. Focus! Autofocus, what are you good for if not this? Oh my god. Anyway, Neptune, I think, hurt the most because it's closest to the bone and it's bigger than Pluto. And then, yeah, that's a pretty good shot of them. But yes, I am super proud of this and my other one. Actually by two different artists. Got this one in South Carolina as like a birthday present, basically. And then I got this one in Orlando, just basically as self-care, because I got money from my aunts. I say aunt generally. I don't know why I said aunt. Anyway, I went to get water from for my water bottle that I just put new stickers on, and I will show these off in a second, honestly. But as I was getting water, I lovingly looked at my All Quiet on the Western Front poster and went, you know what I need to do? I need to film that review for In Memoriam, so I can talk about how great that book is and how we need more gay World War I books that are tailored to my interests. But I was like, I don't feel like standing for a video, much less putting together a coherent review, even though it is something that I can do now at 2 a.m., which is what it currently is. I figured I was like, you know what I did? I did some vlogs. Let's do an Insomnia vlog. You don't have to stand up for that. You don't even necessarily need to post it if you don't want to. Really appreciate all the comments on my last video. It definitely made me feel a lot less lonely. And I've just been like waiting for the vibe to record another one, which was gonna be the In Memoriam review, but I don't know. I might just give it to you 2 a.m. thoughts now. In Memoriam. That's why well, I already told you the ADHD explanation for how this started. I should show y'all the bangin' All Quiet on the Western Front poster that I have, though. It's so good. I love it so much. But I don't think this is going to be a very coherent review. I might do a better one. Or I might just, honestly, I'll probably just talk about it better in the wrap-up if I do decide to post this. So, anyway, with that being said, let's talk about In Memoriam. Because it was so good. And maybe talking about it will help me fall asleep. It is like I said, a gay historical fiction set during World War I. The beginning of World War I, to be specific. Well, not the very beginning. It's set in 1914, but I believe it's set in, like, September or October of 1914. And the war began in July? August. Damn it, my 2 a.m. brain can't remember if it was July or August. I think it was July. I want to say it was July. I don't know why my eyes... I think that's part of the reason I can't sleep right now. It's like my eyes are just... like, they feel weird. And I put eye drops in them. And they're still feeling weird. And I'm like, cool, okay. Anyway, back to the book. I think the war began in July. So this is a couple of months after the war. Fun fact. What was it? 1 million lost 5 months into the war. I think that's the lyric. It's from a Sabaton song. I think that's The War to End All Wars from the Great War album. Anyway, there's your fun fact about the beginning of World War I. I could go more in depth, but I'm not going to, because it doesn't concern the book. We pick up the book at a boarding school, which I have a candle based on this boarding school. It's very good. It was the mystery candle sale from the page. I love their mystery sale. It's so good. Of course, I had to get an In Memoriam book candle. I got an All Quiet on the Western Front candle last year. And it's also good, but I've used most of it. Anyway, we start off at this boarding school, and we meet these two guys who are very clearly in love with each other, but it is 1914, and that is not accepted. And also, they're just very bad at, like, knowing that the other one is in love with them, even though the signs, there's so many signs. But it's so good because neither of them like both of them think that the other one doesn't like them. It's so good. So anyway, one of them is half German, and his feelings for his friend intensify a little bit more. And so his family is like, hey, because they're also British, I didn't mention that, you should enlist in the British Expeditionary Force. That's what it's called, so I'm going to call it that. They did not call it the British Army. So they're like, hey, you should enlist so you can prove that you're loyal to Britain, and people stop harassing us for being German. And he's like, okay, I will do that, because I also want to escape my my feelings for my best friend, basically. So he goes off to the trenches, and there's a whole section about, like, letters that he writes from the trenches. It's very good, also very gay. The other character, the other, like the love interest per se, although I'd argue that they're both main characters. Like, I don't know. It really does not center one over the other, really. Like, it's just both. They're both main characters, and they're both love interests. Anyway, he's very into poetry, and, like, everything soft. He's a very soft boy. He is I'd say he's a soft capital R romantic, if that makes sense to you. So, anyway, he writes letters back and is like, I miss you. It's not the same without you here, and people are, like, enlisting, because, you know, honor and glory and stuff. Unrelated, I have an idea for a World War I Iliad AU, because I feel like it fits glory and honor, meaningless death. It fits. Anyway, speaking of the Iliad, the character who's already gone to the trenches at this point likes classics. He's a classics hoe. I think specifically he really likes Hesiod, though. Is it Hesiod? No, it's not Hesiod. It's some other guy who I don't remember the name of, quite frankly, because it's not a name that's associated with mythology a lot. So I don't remember it. But yes, he wanted to go to university. That's, like, what his argument was when his family was like, you should enlist. He was like, but I wanted to go to, I think he said Oxford, but he might have said Cambridge. I don't remember. To study classics. And I was like, oh, a classics hoe. We love to see it. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, his love interest, even though they're both main characters, is very into poetry, and, like, recites poems, basically, instead of saying, like, I love you, because he doesn't think he can, because it's 1914. And anyway, he ends up enlisting, and it's great. I say it's great. It's not great. The trenches are not a good time. But the book shows you that it's not a good time. The book pulls no punches in describing how, like, horrible the trenches were. And, like, the realities of, like, living in the trenches, and, yeah. It's not great. Obviously, it's not great. There's also a really good commentary about how, since they're both from an elite boarding school, they just join as sergeants, I think, instead of privates. They just automatically get to be, like, commanding officers, or at least kind of commanding. No, I think they get to be, like, legit commanding officers just when they join, or, like, after, like, a boot camp-ish thing. But yeah, because they're from a fancy boarding school, they get to be commanding officers, whereas, like, people who are working class and joined just get to be privates to begin with. And then there's another sergeant in the trenches with them that we meet, who is from a working class background, and it's throughout the book, it's like noted that he should be the one promoted, but he's never the one that's promoted, because he's poor, basically. So it, like, tackles classism in that way, which is also, like, great. But anyway, I'm like, I should probably not reveal too much more of the plot, because that goes into spoilers, because I think that's all that's revealed in, like, the summary. It honestly might not even be revealed in the summary that his love interest joins him at the front. That might have been a little bit of a spoiler, which, sorry. But anyway, oh no, I wasn't going to talk about more of the plot. There's really good, like, okay, and this is not super, this is more like, I'm not going to tell you what character, but I guess there's only one character that goes to Gallipoli, so it would be obvious. But he's like a minor character. Is that like a spoiler people would care about? I feel like people, it's like pretty, it's not throwaway, because I think it is mentioned several times in letters. But Gallipoli was one of, like, the, like, worst parts of the war for the British. Not the worst, I don't think. If the angle is different, it's because my camera stopped recording. I think it only records, like, 20 minutes at a time. And I guess I rambled for 20 minutes. But we're not done. So, Gallipoli was a really bad campaign for the British. It was basically, they were trying to get to the Ottoman Empire by, like, going through Gallipoli, but I'm trying to figure out, I forget, like, where exactly it is. It's in the Middle East, though. Like, on the coast. I want to say modern-day Turkey, but I feel like that's not right. But anyway, Gallipoli, bad. Lots of people die. Lots of people die in World War I in general. But it was a very deadly campaign, and they end up retreating, and all of those people died in vain, basically, because they didn't do anything. They didn't even get very far either. It's real bad. Ironically, Winston Churchill was, like, the one who came up with the idea, and then obviously would go on to be in World War II a lot. But yeah, he came up with Gallipoli, and it's bad. A character goes to Gallipoli, and I'm just gonna tell, he survives. It's wild. I was like, homie, you crazy. Like, can't believe you survived Gallipoli. Wild. And then, the book also takes us to the Battle of the Somme, which is the deadliest battle in British history. And there's a line said by one of the characters, and, like, again, I don't think anybody else is gonna be like, oh my god, this is such a good line. But I really liked it. Before the Battle of the Somme, he says, we're going to be making history. And I'm like, oh yeah, you are, but not the kind of history that you want to make and you think you're gonna be making. Because, yeah, the Battle of the Somme is another one. Like, it's just bad. Not by Winston Churchill. Honestly, it was by somebody worse. His name, I forget his first name, so I'm just gonna call him General Haig. Robert, maybe? Not sure. And he's responsible for, like, the Battle of the Somme, and then a bunch of other shitty battles that happen, where he's like, yeah, we're gonna go on the offensive, and it's totally gonna work this time. We're totally gonna break through the German defenses, and the war is gonna be over. Homie, no. It didn't work the first 3 times you tried it. It's not gonna work now. Anyway, mastermind of the Battle of the Somme. Book takes us to the Battle of the Somme. We get that nice line from the side character, and it's excellent foreshadowing. See, personally, for me, it was like a "what has Hector ever done to me" kind of line, where like the foreshadowing is like there and it's heartbreaking. So that's just me, though. I don't know if anybody else is gonna super clock it, because I don't know how familiar they are with World War I. Probably not that familiar with it, but maybe they know of the Battle of the Somme. I don't know. It's a pretty famous battle. Like I said, deadliest one in British history. So, I don't know. I'm not gonna give people no credit, and I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I was like... I mean, I was the perfect person to read this book. But I'm not going to say there were not other perfect people out there to read the book. I think it did really well in terms of... I don't know if it's done really well in terms of sales or not, honestly. I hope it did, because it deserves it. But I don't know. But anyway, really good. I don't know if I can say anything else, again, without, like, spoilers. What I said is mainly historical recently, so I don't think you're gonna care that much. I don't think you're gonna care that much to begin with. I don't think you care that much about World War I history. This is a booktube channel. But there you go. I don't think there's any other, like, historical things I can talk about, without... No, I just don't think there's any other historical things to, like, super talk about, in any, like, depth. But it handles, PTSD, phenomenally. So good. We love the depictions of PTSD. They were so good. And so, like, nuanced in a way that you don't really get a lot of the times. Yeah, it's really good. And you should read it if any of that sounded interesting to you. And honestly, if you're watching this why are you watching this video at this point especially? I don't know. But yeah, those are my ramble-y thoughts about, my ramble-y 2 a.m. thoughts about In Memoriam, that were inspired by getting water, and seeing my All Quiet on the Western Front poster, which I recently rewatched. It's the 2022, remake that won, 4 Oscars, rightfully so, honestly. I don't think I was super mad about it losing the ones that it lost, but it was nominated for more, so it could have been... I don't remember, the whale one makeup, which, like, fine, I guess, but also, there were so many shades of dirt that makeup team had to make, and the crater scene in that movie, the makeup was so good. And the costuming was really good, too. Like, you know, you would think it's like like, it is, like, but, like, they were, like, authentic. And the actors hated it. Because, like, they were wool uniforms, so they got really heavy when they were wet. And they got wet a lot. So they just had to carry heavy-ass packs along with their drenched, heavy uniforms, and... yeah, fun times for them, I'm sure. But yeah, no. It's really good, too. You should watch it. You can watch it in German, which is how I would say you should watch it. Unfortunately, the English closed captions do leave something to be desired. I recently watched it with the German closed captions because I'd seen it 3 times, and I have a 334 streak on Duolingo in German. Not that that means much, but I was able to piece together a lot of things. And like I said, I'd seen the movie 3 times before this. And yeah, no, their closed captions were banger. The closed captions in the English are not as good. But still, I don't like live action dubs. And even though George Blagden, who plays Grantaire in the Les Mis movie, he voices the dubbed main character, Paul. And he does a good job, but he's no Felix. Felix is the name of the actor who plays the main character. And yeah, it's just weird. The mouth movements are off. But I don't know, if you don't like subtitled movies, I guess it's not a terrible dub. They do their best, but it's just not, you can't capture the original. It's not as good. But anyway, yeah, it won for production design, rightfully so. Those trenches looked amazing. And it also won for score, which again, amazing. Cinematography, amazing. And best international film. Because they wouldn't give it Best Picture. What did win Best Picture? Oh yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that was why I wasn't mad. Because I think all of the Oscars it lost to Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which, fair. It didn't lose adapted screenplay though. It lost adapted screenplay to Women Talking, I want to say. But yeah, anyway, I feel like, oh, I was gonna show you the stickers. This video is already long, so I'm gonna do it anyway though, because I do actually have an All Quiet on the Western Front sticker. It's partially obscured, but this is it. You can see the German title. Oh no, my battery's dead. Okay, never mind. You don't get the stickers because my battery's gonna die and I'm out of focus. So I'm just gonna sign off for now. I don't know if this is gonna be a blog, one night, or multiple nights. Stay tuned to find out. And thanks for watching, if you actually watched this. Comment on what your favorite part was, maybe. I don't know. And send, even though you're watching this after the fact, send good sleeping. I want to sleep. I would like to sleep. Alright. That's it. That's all I got.